or
What the f*** are you? That's life! So, apparently Paul George is at it again, still Mr. Delusional himself, playoff Delusional, P himself. He sat down with a couple people on a podcast from Pivot and said some crazy things.
Yeah, no, it was in that situation you felt for the big fella, because again, he would come in there, you know he want to play, you know he want to give us something on the floor, but then I've dealt with stuff popping up and being hurt, and I know what that feeling is like, and I can only imagine you 7 foot, 270, 280, like you walking around, you carrying that size, and how he plays so physical. I can only put myself in his shoes and understand like how he felt on those days. But, you know, I came here to play with him. You know what I mean? I came to Philly to play with him. Damn, big fella out tonight. Like, all right, like how we gonna figure this one out? Now going into the game, you know, big fella's unavailable right now. So now we gotta kind of, you know, pivot from how we gonna play tonight now.
Okay. First, let me say this before we react. Shout out to Black Guy 12 for another 25 power chat. Says all up, brother. The commission checks was nice last month, so there's something. Also, can we get gifted subs on playback? I'll make sure I push for it. I'll push for it, brother. I'll make sure I push for it. But Jesus, just with another 25. Respect. I'm with you. Can we get some subs out? Can we give some subs out? Excuse me. Shout out to you. Thank y'all. We're going to talk about it. Even if they don't, I guess we'll manage it ourselves. The sub situation here on playback is a little, Low, can we get more emojis to react to other than the ones that we already, yeah. We'll try to get more emojis as well. Shout out to She Latino. I ain't going to compete with these, I'm not going to compete, but here these $2. Fuck Boston, though. Facts. All right, back to the, Paul George, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm going to keep it being with you. You knew that this was a part of the whole situation. You knew that it was a part of you potentially leaving the Clippers to go over to Boston. To go to the Sixers. You knew that already. You knew that you was more than likely going to play with someone who also dealt with injuries. That's actually a huge reason why I didn't think you were going to leave, because you weren't going to go from one situation dealing with injuries to another situation dealing with, in my opinion, worse injuries. You knew that, though. You knew that already. Paul George just needs to say, bro, I did it for the money and keep it pushing. Like, all this other shit is crazy. Like, I get it. We all feel for Joel Embiid, but, bro, I don't know if that really is an excuse for what happened, because even when you was playing, you was horrible. You were horrible.
Always kind of scrambling, I think, trying to figure out, all right, this is how we got to play tonight. This is how, you know, we're going to run through this. We're going to run through that now. We're going to change the plays. We're going to, you know, all right, Tyrese, we need more from you tonight. P, we need more from you tonight. Like, it kind of just turned into that throughout the season of how can we make up for the big fella not being out there tonight.
Yeah, scrambling, what comes to mind for me is chaos. Like, things just all over the place, right? The one thing that gets you close to championship quality, you have to have that cohesion, right? You have to have, the culture got to be right. You have to be able to control the controllables. Injuries happen, right? But leadership is always one of those things that kind of just jump out. Or in your locker room, what's that hierarchy, right, in leadership? Like, who steps up and say, all right, this is what we got to do. This guy's down, we got to be the voice, and we got to continue to push through to get the best out of guys that are available.
The hierarchy, I think a lot of people often think the best player has to take that role every time. I think for our locker room, Kyle Lowry stepped up and was the voice every single day. Listen, this is what it is today. This is who we are right here, right now. We got to go out there and we got to control what we can control. I thought he did a great job of that. You know, when we had Caleb Martin come from a program in Miami where it's hard-nosed, you know what I mean? And so he brought a culture that he was built on into our locker room when we had him. You know, myself, I would chime in.
I was about to say, are you gonna say yourself? Holy fuck! I was waiting for him to say me. Oh my word. Also, as a sidebar, if he doesn't say Maxey, that's going to be mad concerning because Maxey is the one who actually was on record claiming to call out Joel Embiid. Maxey is the one who actually did that, which to me is kind of crazy.
Kelly Oubre would chime in, Tyrese Maxey would chime in, being, there the longest that was playing. And then Big Fella, when he was available, he would chime in. So it was kind of a collective group, but I think we just didn't have enough time together because, I'm new here. I don't know the land of what's going on here. Joel, he wants to say stuff and he wants to, but I think he was thinking from a view of like, man, I'm not playing, so like, I don't know how these new guys is gonna take all of this in. Kyle coming in, he's won a championship, so he knows what a locker room, a culture looks like. It was just, I think so many voices all wanting to say the same thing and get the same thing out of it. But mind you, I mean, like outside of Joel, Tyrese, and Kyle, everybody else was fairly new. Like, and Kelly Oubre, he was there with them as well. But everybody else in that locker room was new. So, we knew it was going to take some time for this to get figured out. So I think we were optimistic. We want to be a championship contending team. But at the same time, it's like, man, we ain't ready. Right. You got to go through some shit to kind of really, to your point, that cohesion, like to be cohesive with one another. You got to go through some shit to kind of mend together. And I just think, it was a bit rushed for us to say that we want to be championship contenders here.
Yeah.
Man.
But that's the reason why you went there. Oh my God, Jesus. That's why you went. Just with another 25. Won't drop the X. Just want to keep the things low key. I just like blessing peeps that's good by their community when I win big. Shout out to you, brother. Not doing this for fame, just love for the bros and sis in here. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Just. Shout out to Just with another 25. Another big 25, man. Shout out to you.
To your point of, I've always been in, LA obviously is not the small market, but being on the smaller of the two teams in LA from fan base and all of that standpoint, I've never played on a caliber of what.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That brother must have won a crazy bag betting against the Celtics. Oh my goodness, he must have won the most ridiculous bag of all time betting against the Celtics.
But I've always been in, LA obviously is not the small market, but being on the smaller of the two teams in LA from fan base and all of that standpoint, I've never played on a caliber of what Philadelphia fan base is with the intensity that they have. So it was, it was pressure, but I always looked at it as like, that's the pressure you want as an athlete. Like you want motherfuckers rooting for you. You want them to call you out. You want them to, like I can walk on the streets. Just the other day, I'm walking on the street with my wife and I had worked out that morning and I'm walking on the streets, a nice day, finally in Philadelphia. I'm walking, dude like, hey, you should be walking on the court, not out here. Damn if I do, damn if I don't situation. But
no, that's kind of tough, actually. That's kind of tough. That's kind of tough. That's crazy.
To that point, every time I suited up, it was like, man, I want to play for this city. Like I know what it'll feel like if we won here. It just sucked because I had so much shit popping up from injuries to, dealing with the fires back home, and my house is in the thick of that. Family situations and shit going on that I had to kind of man up on. It was just so much shit pulling me that it was hard to kind of be all in focused on certain nights.
Or how did you push anxiety away? How did you push depression away? Because that spotlight can get extremely bright.
Dealing with what went on in the bubble, I kind of just had the mindset to just be in the moment.
Hold on. Bro, does he say anything of substance in this fucking podcast? Shout out to Just again. Yeah, the numbers on the bags was stupid. Tough. I don't know how I'm going to break it to the wife, but yeah, just know it's all love. Just pay it forward. That's how we grow as a community. Shout out to you, brother. W Just. And now that let y'all know, he is married. She is married, man. Tough.
I'm a overthinker, super overthinker, and I play out situations that ain't probably never will happen, but that's just how my mind works. And I just had to continue to tell myself to stay in the moment, you know, because again, it's
Bro, does he say anything?
or wasn't 100% to be. Basically, it's just like, man, you and you know, my body wasn't 100% to begin with, and so now you're.
Is he talking about the bubble? He just say he wasn't 100% in the bubble. He may be talking about the beginning.
In your mind, you're thinking you can do something, and physically, it's just like, man, you can't do that right now. So is that playing on you? But to your point, man, it was just more so I just had to try to stay in the moment and just focus on what I could focus on, and let everything else, man, kind of take care of itself. You know, I was in a new situation, new team. I was trying to get, you know, close, you know, relationships built with you know, the guys there.
Just with another 25, he said, chat saying you got to give out subs, fam, LOL. Can we at least do one tonight just for me? Technically, I don't know, because
Yes, I just tell him pick anybody he wants.
My goodness, this dude I do.
But we can. I don't know if we can get out a sub. We can get a VIP, but not a sub.
This dude I do. Wasn't like,
Yeah, the way that subs work, like I don't think we can give someone a VIP, but not a sub. But if you pick somebody, yeah, we can give out a VIP to them. Yeah, we can. If you pick somebody, we can. Yeah.
Because I plan on being there for the long haul. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, this is my last journey. It's my last stop. So I'm all in on building relationships there. So that's kind of what just my focus was, man. Just focus on these guys in this locker room.
That switch, turning that switch on off. What's your opinion of that? Because I think that's a big criticism of the NBA.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you're 100% right. And I don't want to say this because to knock the league, because, you know, we making good money in the league, in the NBA. But 82 games is taxing sometimes, where it gets to a point where you on your fifth game in 6-7 nights, and that fifth game is just like, man,
that doesn't happen anymore. What is this nigga talking about? They've actively removed that shit out of it. What is he talking about? There's no such thing as a fifth game on 6 nights. He's just lying. You just lied there. That does not happen. Fifth game in 7 nights. That doesn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about right now. That's a lie.
You know, how do I get through this one? And mind you, in certain situations, like people dealing with shit going on at home, you might get into it with your spouse or, you know, just variables that happen that, like, you can't.
Man, what the fuck are you? That's life! Oh, my. Bro. So not only did you make up five games in 6 nights, that does not happen. You sitting up here chatting about that happens behind the scenes and all the, bro, that's just life. That's life. It can be stressful. I understand it, but that's life. The benefit of it is that you get millions upon millions of dollars to also avoid other problems that other people deal with, because many other people, they go out, they try to do their job with a bunch of other nonsense that goes on behind their life, and then go back to their life and have to deal with those problems because they're only making $10, $15 an hour or $20 an hour. A lot of times the other struggles that people deal with their life is associated with the fact that they don't make enough money. Well, my nigga, you didn't have to play basketball this year and you still earned money. You didn't have to work. Think about that. So that's not an excuse. It may be there for it to happen, but I don't know. When millionaires talk like this, I think it's just so tone deaf to the audience. Like, I think it's just so tone deaf. So tone deaf.
In control, but now you got to take that with you, with not sleeping, getting in late, playing your fifth game on 7th, 8th night, So that, you might be a little flat that night. Where like, man, I'm just exhausted tonight. I need somebody to carry me. It been games, and that was one of the reasons why I love playing with Russ. Shout out Russ. It was nights where I'm like, man, I'm a little flat. But then I look over here, Russ is 100%, full-fledged, he going. All right, shit, that's what I needed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
The question should be, why wasn't that you 100% ready to go? That should be the question. That should be the question.
I shout out those guys that when you can get those kind of guys, the Pat Bevs, the Russell Westbrooks, when you can get those energetic guys on your team, they're huge. They're huge for the program.
We don't have All-Star break. We also don't have NBA money, right? Mm-hmm. So the thought of being like, I'm going to go to St. Bart's while the All-Star game, that don't happen for us, right? But that's common in your game, right? Players, when they are not playing in All-Star weekend or participating, they get an opportunity to get away from ball. You do that, you get away with your lovely wife, and the Philadelphia fans and the people are ridiculing you for the pictures that are posted. One fan said, if this was Jimmy Butler, he'd have us huddled up like Full Metal Jacket. What do you say to people who want, like the man walking down the street, you need to be walking on the court. What do you say to people who want athletes or NBA players in particular to not have a life unless they're winning or unless basketball's going as the fans think it should go?
Yeah, I mean, that part always gets me. Because, now I'm getting into golf, and I like to play as much as I can. And, me posting golf stuff, people got something to say. Like, you should be in the gym. Why you not working on your game? Why you not? I did that. Like, I'm doing this now because I did that earlier. You know what I mean? I think people don't understand that, like, you can't physically be in the gym 24 hours out of the day. Like, we gotta have a life too. You know what I mean? Like,
this is fair. It is fair. I think that Kobe really ruined a lot of people's perception and expectations of like what an NBA player's life looks like. Because Kobe, that mentality is all the way at 10. Everybody can't be that way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be Kobe. Everybody can't be Bron. Everybody can't do those things. They're just not going to, right? I will say this, though. If you're not, the problem is that it's all, again, public perception. So when you're out working on your game, shooting, if you're going to take a picture of that. Go post that. Don't post only you playing golf or you chilling on a boat or you, like, don't do that, because then it's the perception of that. That's all you do, that you don't actually work out, that you don't actually train, that you aren't trying to get better. Like, that's what the perception ends up being. But I'm pretty sure that PG is working out. It's just that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he showed. That's all he be showing. So then that's what people be thinking.
Like, y'all don't work, not y'all, but fans, like, whatever y'all job is, y'all don't work 24 hours out of the day. Y'all have leisure time. Y'all have things.
Oh, this is a bad. Oh, man. NBA players kill me when they try to compare their job to, like, everybody else's job. Yeah, you're right. Niggas have leisure time. People have time to themselves. But also, people aren't getting paid millions of dollars, and their contracted amount of money they get paid isn't as guaranteed as y'all's. That's why. The expectations of what we doing are two different things. Also, most people, when they work, they don't have like a 2 to 3 month break in between as well. That's why. And if we're going to keep it a bean with ourselves, nigga, you don't work 8 hours out of the day, sometimes 10. Most NBA players don't do that shit. You don't. You work out. You do what you're supposed to do. If it's an off day, all you do is work out, maybe practice, because even practicing has gone down. And then after that, you get a break for the rest of the day, and you have nothing to do. There's too many NBA players who've already told us what y'all go through. Too many have already told us. even on a game day, y'all might practice early on, and then there's like a 5 to 6 hour window gap after that 3 hour practice that you went through. There's like a 6 hour gap where you niggas do nothing. Gilbert Arenas has said it several times. Back in the day, he used to just sit in traffic. That's how bored he used to be. Most of y'all niggas gamble your money away, do a whole bunch of other nut shit. So no. NBA players have to stop comparing their lifestyle and what they do in contrast to the regular person, because it's not the same. Y'all have time in between when y'all work. When y'all make money, it's guaranteed. You have a gap of time, which is the off season when you don't have to work at all, or at least not work as hard to, again, secure the money that you already signed for. So no, bro, no.
Y'all like to do, y'all got hobbies. How you gonna ridicule me? I'm in the 1 percentile of my work. You know what I mean? And I've showed you I work hard. Obviously, if I've made it to this point, now why can't I have a life aside from my job now? You know what I mean? So that always gets me when, people ask that question or make that comparison. Like, you know what I mean? That Jordan golfs. And he the best motherfucker in the world. Like,
Yeah, but he won. That's the reason why. That's the other thing. Winning heals all. Winning heals everything. So when you win, it's done. Nobody then questions like how committed you are, because the proof is in the pudding. The results are there. We know what you're committed to, and we can see the results of it. People may question what you do, and I'm not saying it's right, but people may question Paul George because it's like, bro, I didn't see what the results are. The results, it's not Michael Jordan. It's not Kobe. It's not Duncan. It's not some of your own peers. It's not LeBron. It's not Curry. It's not none of that. It's not. Just said again with a $5, listen to this man. Kill the vibe. Whose man is this? LOL. PG making excuses. Just accept the ridicule or hate, acknowledge it, and respond with your game. Yeah, and we get to a point where we are at his point in his career where you just got to respond, bro. And unfortunately, we're also at a point in your career where things are teetering down. Yeah, it's tough.
he had a hobby outside of basketball, like,
Right.
and we know how hard he worked. We know
Right.
what, you know what I mean, the time he dedicated to his craft.
Right.
I'm not comparing myself to Jordan or
I know
saying
what
I'm
you're
on that
saying, though.
stature, but like, shit, everybody got, shit to do that, outside of what their profession is. So
Yeah, and it's what all you've done, bro. You were the monster. He said your resume. What do you need affirmation anymore? Do you need to worry about any of that? Like, why does it? We talk about it all the time. Why does it get to you? Why does it get to your? Why does it get to hell with them?
Because you haven't won yet. That's why. That's why I would. I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that the affirmation that you're looking for is a championship. I would hope that's it. I would hope that's it. I would hope so.
it don't get to me. It don't get to me. Like, other than winning a championship, like, and obviously wanting to win an MVP, like I didn't like I like where my career is going. Like, I'm thinking about it the other day. Like, had there not been a LeBron James, shit, I might have had one. You know what I mean? Had we not played LeBron James, or there was no LeBron James, we might have had one in Indiana. You know what I mean?
What the fuck? Oh my nigga, did you just pivot from one excuse into another excuse? Oh my days! Oh my word! No way you just did that. Nigga, you might be better at excuse making than actual basketball, bro. What? Oh my word. He said might. I understand that. But this is the other issue with like the Eastern Conference back then. Bro, some of them players got so geeked in their mind, like, ooh, we getting closer to LeBron. We getting close. Then all of a sudden, you actually think that LeBron was the only thing that was stopping you from winning, when then LeBron would go to the finals and he would lose. Paul George and DeMar DeRozan, let me be the first to tell you, LeBron was not going to be the only thing stopping you from winning a championship, bro. You beat LeBron, you lose to KD, you lose to Curry, you lose to to Tim Duncan and the Spurs, Kawhi Leonard, man, you lose to them. You will lose to them, bro. The reason why they won because they were able to put Chris Bosh at the 5, space out the floor, and take Roy Hibbert and Tim Duncan off the floor in pivotal moments. That's how the Heat won a couple of those series. There's no way you're telling me, Paul George, that you would go on the floor getting guarded by Kawhi Leonard and then being able to play both Tiago Splittard and Tim Duncan on the floor, because Tim and Tiago will be able to play because y'all playing Roy Hibbert and David West. All of your offense will be cut off. No way. No way. No way. No way. No. 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 Were the Pacers comp in 2015, 2016? No, because at that point, one of the years he broke his leg, and the other year I think they had already pivoted. And I don't even think David West was there no more. I mean, Roy Hibbert had fallen off at that point, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I see you, Max. When I get done with the video, we're going to go to it. Hold on, let me hear what this nigga got to say, bro.
And I felt the guy on the East. I felt like I was, we played Carmelo. Got Carmelo out of there. Shout out, Mel. Played a tough Wizards with John and Bradley Beal. Nobody could come through us. Atlanta was a stacked team. Nobody could go through us. People want to talk about your performance.
Atlanta was what? Atlanta was what, nigga? Bro, I'm telling you, bro. When people ask me, Lo, why? Why do you want to get rid of conferences? Why? This is why. Because when there's conferences in place, it's not just that we may get lopsided finals. It's that we also have players with mentalities that think that they're closer than they actually are. Organizations with mentalities that they think that they're closer than they actually are. So then they commit to certain things that aren't worth committing to. In a Western Conference, you got to come to conclusions very quickly. You got to wake the fuck up real quick. That's why when PG, you went to the West, even though you were on the team with Russ and Melo, nigga, you couldn't get out the first round, so you had to wake the fuck up sooner than later and pack your shit and go over to the Clippers because you had to wake up sooner than later. That team in the East, you would have made the second round, maybe the conference finals. In the West, though, nigga, you couldn't get past the first round. That's why the Utah Jazz can go out there win 50-plus games with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, and they still can't get to the conference finals. You got to wake the fuck up. Got to wake up. You got to wake up. 50 wins is what it takes to solidify you in the West. 50. This is the problem. PG now believes that he was close to winning a championship. My nigga, LeBron in Miami, it took them seven to beat the Spurs. And in the process, LeBron had one of his worst series shooting-wise, and it would have been a better matchup for y'all. You would have been lucky if you got a game off of that team. Stop. And next year, they not only lost in 5, bro, they lost in historic fashion. And you think that you would have been close? Nigga, you think you beating the Warriors? Fuck it, before KD came? You really think that? You really think you beating the Mavericks? You really think you beating the Warriors? You really think that shit? The Thunder? You think that? Stop, my nigga. And I don't think you really believe that shit. That's why you went over. That's let me stop. But
Performance in the playoffs in Oklahoma. Motherfuckers don't know, man. I watch games now.
oh wait, just in another power chat. Hold on. Just with another power chat saying, signing out. Low, keep doing your thing, bro. In chat, respect y'all. I'm out, fellas. Hope I made someone's night. Respect. I'm feeling lucky for next season. We raising the banner. Peace. Thank you, Just. W Just, man.
Cats are hurt. Cool, they play through it. Cool, they production level drops. Nobody says anything about that. Y'all know how the Toradol work. I was taking Toradol during those Oklahoma series. Yeah. Once that shit wore off, production dropped. But I'm gonna give you what I got. Mm-hmm. So I didn't play or pick up a ball. I didn't touch a ball for 2 weeks going into that series. Play that series. I started to play well. The medicine's working. I'm mad. I done did all this shit. Now we done? What you mean? Dame shooting that shot. Yeah, I was mad at the moment, but I should have respected the moment of him being that's his greatness. I should have respected his greatness. In my mind, it was a bad shot just because of you had 10 seconds. Sidestep, and that's the shot you take. That's like giving Tom Brady the ball on the opponent 20, 15 seconds to go, and he nil it. Yeah. Damn, Tom, you ain't gonna at least go for it? You know what I mean? You ain't gonna try to get closer? Right. I felt he had time. In basketball world, it was a bad shot because I felt he could have really isolated me and got closer to the basket or something.
And so that's the point right there, nigga. Welcome to the West. Niggas out in the West, they make bad shots. Dame, he'll make a bad shot. Curry killed niggas' whole hopes with bad shots. Welcome to the West, nigga. Welcome. That's why when you got Jokic, niggas in the chat trying to fry me. Jokic, yeah, Jokic. And niggas, fuck niggas' whole mood up with a bad shot. And the audacity you bring up John Wall, the Atlanta Hawks. That lets me know, nigga, it's not even the same. It's not even remotely close to being the same. If the first name you bring up outside of LeBron is John Wall and the Hawks, my nigga, it's not the same. You went to the West and you got put out not even by the top teams. You lost to a young Denver Nuggets squad. You lost to rookie or second year Donovan Mitchell. You lost to Dame on a bad shot. You couldn't even make it to the big boys. You couldn't even make it to Curry. KD. You couldn't even make it there. You couldn't even make it to LeBron. Nigga. Stop, bro. He lost to Dame in 5. You lost to Dame in 5, bro. That's who you lost to. You think you was close? Nigga, be for real, bro.
So that bothered me. But other than that, man, I feel like, my career has gone as I wanted it to go. I've had a great career. My story is still being written.
That's such a lie. You wanted it. There's no way when you join the Clippers and you thought it was supposed to go with you losing up 3-1. That's a lie, bro. You're coping. You're coping. Yo, he needs to sit down with a therapist. I agree with you more or less that your career is extremely successful, especially in contrast to majority of players in the NBA. Top 1% without a doubt. Without a doubt. You're going to go into the Hall of Fame. Without a doubt. In my mind, at least. But to say when you're in those situations that it went according to plan, brother, you blew a 3-1 lead. How is that going according to plan? You chose a team you wanted to go to when you went to the Clippers. You was on an expiring contract and you stayed in OKC. It went according to plan when you lost in the first round? No, it didn't. 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 No, it didn't.
I don't have no regrets other than, obviously playing for a championship. But other than that, man, I feel fine with where I'm at.
Will you qualify as I did what I was supposed to do with my opportunity?
I think for me, like, when you think of the next generation, guys coming after you, like I inspired a next generation. Like, for me, that's a win. Obviously, like, of course you want to win a championship and you want your legacy to be on a champion level, but like that, I've been okay with, like, that ain't for everybody. There's greats that's been before me that ain't won, and
so now, wow. So why, whoa. So now you're saying, hold on, let me make, because that blew me so much, I need to make sure I rehear what you just said.
And guys coming after you, like, I inspired a next generation. Like, for me, that's a win. Obviously, like, of course you want to win a championship and you want your legacy to be on a champion level, but like that, I've been okay with, like, that ain't for everybody. There's greats that's been before me that ain't won, and they still inspire. Like, you think of AI, how much he's influencing.
So I get the example. So you are just doing, you just signed for the money, which is fine, but that's all you do. You just signed for the money. You didn't go to Philly to go compete and win a championship, because now you're saying that you just accepted that it's just not for everybody. And all you're doing now is maximizing the rest of your years in terms of earning potential, which again is fine. That's fine. But brother, you went to Philly, I would hope, to go compete at the highest level. You are playing with someone who peaks at an MVP caliber level. You also are playing with an up-and-coming star in Maxey, and they just brought in Jared McCain. And you were running around talking about how much your value is still at this stage of your career. What the fuck am I paying you max money for if you accepted that I might not win? That's what it's all for. That's why you wanted a max. And this is why people give you the energy that they give you. Because respectfully, I'll say this. It'd be one thing if Paul George was Chris Paul, right? Because Chris Paul's at the point in his career where it makes sense. Twilight of his career, just spent the year on a team that's rebuilding. He's there for mentorship. He's there for leadership. He's there for development. That's what he's there for. That's why when he signed the contract, it wasn't max money. You're not at that stage in your career. And if you are at that stage of your career, why the fuck were you begging for max with no trade clauses? You're talking like you're 40, my nigga. Whoa. Nigga, this is a pitiful interview.
Inspired the game, and he ain't won a championship, but people love him for what he meant to basketball.
How did you switch your mindset from being the underdog that wasn't supposed to make it to being expected to be one of the best players in the world and eventually get a ring?
Yeah, I set that expectation on myself early, and I spoke about this a little bit on my pod, where when I first got to Indiana, I told the whole locker room, give me 2 years, I'm gonna be an all-star. Locker room fell out laughing. All right, like, okay, cool. And from that moment on, I had it in my mind that I'm gonna be the best offensive player on this team, and I'm gonna be the best defensive player on this team. And that's just how I carried myself Kobe being my idol, somebody I looked up to, I wanted to kind of pave the way that the way he approached the game, that's how I want to approach the game. And so when I started working and getting better, and I started to see what the work did, all right, now that I started out as a role player, now I'm getting touches, cool. Now I'm getting more attempts, cool. Danny go down, now I'm the man, cool. Now that's the expectation. So it's tough in a way of, because for one, you gotta want to get to that point. But then when everybody expect it, now it's like, shit.
Yeah.
What did I sign up for? I was playing this shit just for the love. Now what did I sign up for?
PG is the type of nigga I would not want to represent my franchise. Like, I respect the transparency, but holy smokes, bro. This is a nigga I would never, ever want to represent. Cause this is like, you acknowledge, and I agree with him. No, I love the truth. I don't hate the truth. I love the truth. I appreciate it. But, and maybe he at a stage in his career where he is going to be more open and honest about this. Maybe if we caught him in Indiana, he would still lie and believe in himself a little bit more now, back then, than he does now. So I get that. I get that. But there is a sense of delusion that comes with greatness. He gave us an example of it. PG was not pegged to be an all-star caliber player when he first came in. He told everybody. He said, hey, I'm going to be that. Right? That's a level of delusion that you need to reach to a certain stratosphere of stardom, and he reached it. The level of delusion that will convince Damian Lillard that this is a bad shot and I'm going to take it and make it and end this series. That's a level of delusion. That nigga Curry is delusional when he steps the floor. The shots that he takes are some nut shots. You're crazy. But he has so much confidence he's going to make it that it could definitely come across as delusional. Kobe was delusional. This nigga Jordan is I've already told y'all this. When you get to that level of stratosphere, bro, the level of delusion and arrogance you have to even attempt the shots that they attempt for you to make them, it's crazy. And again, he's maybe at a point in his career where it makes sense for him to tone down it.
That you want to bring them back with your story. That's how you say it. That's exactly how you say it. I want to tell my own story. What were some of them false narratives that you wanted to give clarity on?
Just everything, man. To be honest, like a lot of the stories that going on in the league that, I make excuses, or I copped out of Indiana, or I copped out of Oklahoma. Like, none of that shit. Like, I wanted to be in Indy. That didn't work out. Oklahoma, I wanted to be in Oklahoma. It wasn't up to me. People don't know it wasn't up to me. I thought I signed there, be here 4 years. Let's just say what it is. Obviously, Russ been in Oklahoma for, 10 plus years at this time. That's his home. I understand when it's time to up and leave. Like, you want to go see something else. You want to be somewhere else. That got back to me. Russ want to leave. I'm not about to stay in Oklahoma by myself.
Huh. He did. That is technically you want to leave, but I didn't know it was presented that way. I thought it was presented in a way in which you had opportunities to leave because Kawhi presented an opportunity to you to either leave to go to the Clippers or the Raptors. Not that the first person who said that they want out was Russ. I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's very interesting. It's a bit counterintuitive to everything that we know now, because effectively now what PG is saying is that Russ wanted out, and it just so happened coincidentally Kawhi also wanted to play with me. That's what he's saying. That it just so happened to work out in that way. And if Kawhi said, hey, come join me in either Toronto or with the Clippers, he would have said no if Russ was willing to stay because he didn't want to leave OKC. That's the story that's being told. That's not the story I remember. That's not the story I remember, but that's the story he's saying is being told. Okay. Also, gotta say this real quickly. You saying this? What in the world? Okay, Raquel. Okay. You saying this is still odd because you could have just stayed in Indy still. You still could have stayed in Indiana. It's not as if like the organization is so poorly ran that they wouldn't be able to put another team around you. You just lost faith that they would be able to do so. Raquel just sent me a picture of a man with a BBL. That's what she just did. I just saw man butt.
You know what I mean? Like, but people think that I'm the one originated to get out and blow that team up. Like, nah, I'm not gonna stay in Oklahoma by myself. Like, Russ wanna go, that's cool. Like, I have no problem with that. But now I'm gonna try to figure out what's best for me in this situation. Wow. You know, the injuries, people think that like, oh, it's production. He don't perform in the playoffs. Like, when have I not performed? Only time I haven't performed is when I just physically wasn't capable, but I tried to give my team everything I had.
Is this nigga serious? No, are you serious? Deadass, are you serious? I need to hear that cause what you just told me is crazy. Are you serious, my nigga? I gotta hear this. No.
I haven't performed is when I just physically wasn't capable, but I tried to give my team perform. Only time I haven't performed is when I just physically wasn't capable, but I tried to give my team everything I had. You know, that situation, the Dame situation, people think, oh, he's salty, he's this. Yeah, I'm grown enough to admit.
Salty.
I was mad. Like I'm man enough to admit that I was mad, but I should have first said, shout out and congratulated Dame for his greatness on that play and that shot. And then gave my opinion on what I thought that shot was. The bubble situation. People, oh, he this, he that. He hit the side of the backboard. I done seen plenty of motherfuckers hit the side of the backboard. You know what I mean? The greats have done that. Wow.
So you didn't perform. Oh my God. Is this, there's no way there's no way you started this segment by saying that you don't give excuses just for you to end the segment by giving a fucking excuse to how poorly you perform. What the fuck are you talking about? You telling me that somebody else did the same shit, that's an excuse. What are you talking about, my nigga? Oh my God. You saying that you don't perform, you always perform. I always show up, I always perform. And then immediately pivot to a moment where you didn't perform. What are you talking about? Bro. Paul George You are the most delusional person I think I've seen in quite some time. And the fact that they allow him to get off on this shit is crazy to me. What are you talking about, bro? Playoff P last 3 games. Hold on. Because I think people may have forgotten what he did. Because it wasn't just one fucking... Yeah, that's another thing. Thank you for putting it in the chat. It wasn't just, oh, I had a bad shot. No. Nigga. 9 points, 3 for 14. 11 points, 3 for 16. 14 points, 4 for 17. Nigga, it wasn't just one. It wasn't just one shot. It wasn't just one. Oh, word. Oh, my. There is no way that you literally sat there and said, I don't give excuses, and then ended it with an excuse. There's no way you just sat there and said, when do I always perform, just for you to immediately pivot to the series where you didn't perform, and then gave an excuse after it. You gave an excuse.